What's going on, guys? Trader Kaz here. Wanted to record a update video. Today is Wednesday, September 7th. Market's recovering a little bit after yesterday's breakdown, and kind of want to talk about what some of my plans are going forward. So it looks like we have the possibility of creating a type of double bottom formation here, right? So this level was very clear support, held like 3 times when we were bottoming over here before the run up to 25K. We have now come back down, tested this level, and we're seeing a little bit of buying support, or a little bit of support through buying. For me to be a little more confident that a short-term bottom is in, I'd like to see us flip 19.5. This was a very clear SR level, the floor before this breakdown. So if we're able to flip that, I would feel good about some upside to at least 22K, maybe a little higher to like 23. But that hinges on this setup playing out. It would provide a nice swing long opportunity, right? We could have our stops here, targeting this and this, 4R to 23K, through 2.6R to 22. So that'd be a really nice setup. That's kind of the main high time frame trade that I'm looking for, and that doesn't mean that the market's going to be bullish from there on out. This could have been our breakdown, and we just put in a lower high here before more downside, right? We're not going to try and predict things that many steps in advance because I think it is a bit of a waste of time. But we want to look at the levels that are right in front of us, trade level to level, and try and just make money for as long as we're ranging down here. So main setup for Bitcoin, flip 19.5, look for longs, right? On the other side, if we do rally a bit more here and get to that 19.5 level, and I'll zoom in a little bit for this, I would be looking for some short setups at that area, right? So if we come up here, spike up into this level, break back below it, that's kind of the short setup that I'd be looking for. Get some like lower time frame, breaking market structure, right? Breaking this low, and then I think we would come down. And it's totally possible that we just form a range within 18.5, 19.5, trade that for a little while. But I think we have to assume this is going to be resistance until it's not. And so that means keeping an eye out for shorts on the first test of this level. But if we get rejected and then I want to see an impulsive move above this level, hold it as support, that's when the long plan would trigger. And maybe even a daily close back above that level would be helpful. But you can see we kind of are getting the same pattern here. Nuke, tight consolidation, nuke, tight consolidation, nuke. However, one thing worth noting is this one from top to bottom was 17%. This one from top to bottom was 11. And this one was 8.5. So the drops are getting less violent, and that could be a sign of weakness from the sellers, or not really weakness, but more so exhaustion, that the worst is over. So those are kind of the 2 plans. Assume this is resistance until it's not. If we flip it, look for longs targeting here and like here-ish, the origin of that breakdown. Let's look at ETH BTC quickly before we look at ETH, because this is something I talked about a few streams back, if you remember. And it actually followed the squiggly incredibly well. I'm pretty proud of this one, like perfectly. Which, I mean, that comes down to luck. But we have this high time frame range we've been trading in, deviated the high and the low, really strong rally up to the range high, but this is some pretty obvious resistance here. We pushed above, broke down. Now we're facing this as resistance. So it is possible that this was our rejection, right? And that we just push higher from here, and then we have some support above the range high. Not going to rule that out. ETH has been super strong. But for as long as we're below this level, I'm assuming this is topped. So if this rejects, I'm looking for ETH BTC downside, which would mean weakness for Ethereum, strength for BTC. So if we come here and the short setup triggers, we would be looking for shorts on Ethereum if this level has still held and we continue to assume that Ethereum will be weaker, at least for a bit, right? It doesn't need to be forever. Maybe it pulls back into here and then goes back up, but we'll see. And if ETH BTC, flips that level, if we get back above 0.825, whatever, that we're pushing up against here, that would be really bullish for Ethereum. And if the long setup triggers, where we flip this level, where we get back above 19.5, we're absolutely looking for longs on Ethereum, right? Then Ethereum is the preferred long. With that being said, let's talk about Ethereum a little bit now. Let me mark Monday's range as usual. And I'm going to throw the monthly and weekly opens on there as well. Make this a little thinner because it's obnoxious. Okay. So now we got some levels we're working with. So the structure is way different on Ethereum than BTC, right? This made a new low. Ethereum made a higher low. So it still does look far more bullish. We're trading above the monthly open and also Monday's low, and now we're facing some resistance from the weekly open. This looks like it can rally higher. I think Monday's high would be a good short opportunity. I don't love the risk to reward, but if it came down and retested here, I think something like this is reasonable. You just have to realize it's not the highest risk to reward, but you know when to cut it. If it breaks down below this level, you could get out for a smaller loss. But I guess the main, because risk is hard to define here because it's so far away, I would prefer to look for shorts on Ethereum, and I think that looks good at 1630. Similar with Sol, somewhere around here, and also Monday's high, I think would be a nice area to short Sol as well. And hopefully all that lines up with Bitcoin coming close to this 19.5 level. I don't think we're going to get a perfect retest because we never really do. So maybe if we do end up, or if like rejection is at what we end up getting, it might happen a little before that level. Also seeing some resistance from the weekly open here on Sol. So the main game plan is on Bitcoin for higher time frame trades, and it has to do with this level. So I think right now is the time to chill, but if this gives us the bullish scenario, there's a lot of alts we can be longing. If it gives us the bearish scenario, there's a lot of stuff we can be shorting. If ETH BTC has a short-term top, a lot of these alts are going to bleed pretty bad, in my opinion, if the market does go down. And I think there would be a lot of money to be made shorting a handful of alts. But that all hinges on what happens here, if we're able to flip this level or if we reject there. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe. Also forgot to do this at the beginning, but shout out to Bybit for being the sponsors of this video. They're also doing a promotion where if you deposit $1,000, you will get matched with a $1,000 bonus that you can trade however you like. The profits are yours to keep. Can't withdraw the bonus, but you basically get to take a free $1,000 trade. So I'll leave the links for all that in the description. Tried to keep this one under 10 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll post another video soon, and I'll keep you posted on Twitter if I enter any trades. Talk to you guys soon.